Good Will Hunting, Inside Out, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and Silver Linings Playbook are all movies that deal with mental health in some form or another. But today I am discussing Joker because of these three reasons: the controversy, its content, and the aftermath. Joker had a rather interesting reception between the trauma of the shooting in 2012, where a man who believed he was the Joker killed 12 people, and the subsequent increased security at early screenings of the film. Joker stands out from other depictions of mental health on screen because of the effect that Joker has had on the world. Not only is Joker a pop culture icon, but also a symbol of dangerously mentally ill people, just like the 2012 shooter. Other depictions of mentally ill protagonists are rather tame compared to the Joker, who kills and tortures people. Good Will Hunting displays a quiet janitor with a natural gift. Inside Out stars a conflicted young girl dealing with her emotions. Eternal Sunshine depicts a young man who just wants happiness. And Silver Linings Playbook is basically a rom-com. These are all films that show the highs of overcoming mental health, but Joker is the gritty reality of society's failure to accommodate people with mental health issues. The Blackberry Center said in an article titled "The Best Mental Health Movies to Watch in 2020, how we view the world and how the world views us can have a big impact on mental health. That's why seeing depictions of people living with mental illness can lessen feelings of isolation and uplift the spirit. Joker has a place in this world for the underrepresented underdogs who are suffering from their mental health and don't have some magic machine to wipe away their bad memories. They do not have an old wise professor to see their greatness. Those upbeat, happy depictions of mental illness are valid, and people with mental illness need to see others succeed so that they can believe that they can too. But ignoring the failures of society is all too common in most media. Joker shows that they are not alone, and that reaches people. People see the Joker on t-shirts, mugs, shows, and in this case, a movie, and they feel a connection to the character. Whether that connection is to the broken underdog who suffers from mental illness or to the violent psychopath depends on the individual, but the Joker means something to people. The Joker is an icon. Controversy.
Referred to many of Gotham's residents as clowns. Today, he offered little in the way of an apology.
There have been countless controversies against the film Joker, and it had a negative perception among many. Because the film involves a villain with mental health issues, a majority assumed that the movie would cause people to riot, cause destruction, or even cause people to follow in the Joker's footsteps. One of the reasons is due to a certain myth that has got around in the film community regarding shootings at movie theaters. According to the Daily Beast, one of the myths began when there was an exaggerated coverage of the 2000 shooting in Aurora, Colorado, where a young man went into a midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises and he gunned down 12 people. ABC News quoted the New York Police Commissioner Ray Kelly, who said the man with red dyed hair had called himself the Joker. Then the New York Times made the whole situation even worse and reported that witnesses told the police that the shooter said something to the effect of "I am the Joker," according to a federal law enforcement official, and that his hair had been dyed red or he was wearing a wig. This is what started the myth, and it had built a prejudice on the film Joker. However, these reports turned out to be false, and the Denver Post later concluded investigators heard no witnesses talking about the Joker because of this myth. Warner Bros. Had to increase security for Joker's Los Angeles and New York premieres, all due to a misunderstanding. Content.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking.
If you have never seen Joker, you would probably think that the film is just a typical supervillain blockbuster. There have been so many prejudiced assumptions about the film and how it has a negative reputation, but to many who have seen it, it is actually a well-made film that realistically shows what people with mental illness go through and how most of them don't receive any support when they need it the most. In other terms, people with mental health issues could relate to Arthur Fleck and connected with this character because they had gone through the same thing as he did. According to USA Today, psychologist Roblyn P. Letwer at Virginia Stanford University says, Joker provides a powerful view into the daily struggle for so many people with mental illness as they try to conduct regular lives, and knowingly and unknowingly and insensitive the general public can be, that tends only to exacerbate their mental health symptoms. The film has brought to light an issue that most people won't talk about in general and will most likely avoid. In a way, Joker has raised awareness for people struggling with their mental health and how they need help too. According to Advent Health, the film accurately reflects that mental illness is not well understood and can represent something unpredictable, which makes it easy to assign stereotypes or to be afraid. Dr. Mark goes on to add, if we see someone who acts in a way we don't understand or are outside of what we are used to, we try to make sense out of it. And if we can't, the ambiguity may create a sense of fear. Aftermath.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's just, it's been a rough few weeks, Murray.
The media's portrayal of the Joker made it seem like a film that would cause people to be influenced by the main character, but in reality, the film showcased an interesting and intriguing case of Arthur Fleck and how he became the Joker. The audience did not watch this film because of the possible mass shootings at theaters. Situations like that do not happen frequently, but the media made it seem like watching Joker would cause mass shootings. According to the Daily Beast, the notion that Joker could inspire a real-world shooter has little basis in scientific facts. Psychologists have been studying the link between media and real-world violence for decades, and the results have been inconclusive. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the vast majority of mental health problems are no more likely to be violent than anyone else. Only 3 to 5% of violent acts can be attributed to individuals living with a serious mental illness. Meanwhile, as Joker illustrates, people with severe mental illness are 10 times more likely to be victims of a violent crime than the general population.
Hard! Hard! Stay down, freak!
Conclusion.
The city has cut funding across the board. Social services is part of that. This is the last time we'll be meeting. They don't give a shit about people like you, Arthur.
The media rarely seems to grasp the spectrum of mental health is far more complex than this person is crazy, so they are a murderous serial killer, or this person is a wounded dove in need of protection from a big bad world. The fact that the Joker shows the reality of being a victim of not just mental illness, but a cruel society that prioritizes money over people. Joker shows the reality of what's going on today. The government does not care about people like Arthur. The real people who are suffering from mental illness get tossed aside. But everyone cares about the Joker, the fictional and brandable, more interesting version of mental illness. That is the Joker. That is the iconic character that everyone knows.
What do you get
I don't think so.
when you cross
I think
a
we're
mentally
done
ill
with you,
loner
George.
with
That's
a
it.
society that abandons him and treats him like trash?
Call the police,
I'll
Gene.
tell you what you get.
Call the police.
You get what you fucking deserve.
Or you get a pretty good movie.